You can be intelligent, have talent, and great ideas, but if no one listens to you, none of that matters. Today, I'm going to teach you how to change that and never ignore you again. A few years ago, I arrived at a meeting with an idea that could revolutionize our entire project. I spoke with passion and conviction, exposing my vision in detail, but it was as if he were talking to an empty room. My colleagues nodded and then continued their conversation as if I had not said anything. I left that meeting feeling invisible and frustrated, but months later, something incredible happened. I entered another meeting. I said a few carefully chosen words, and suddenly, everyone leaned forward, pending each syllable. The room was silent. People started asking questions. They wanted to know more. What had changed? I had discovered and applied a simple principle of Dale Carnegie that transformed the way people responded to me. Before deepening this principle that will change your life, make sure you subscribe to this channel, because here you will learn to communicate so that people always pay attention to you. We explore the psychology behind human relationships, and we offer you practical tools that you can use immediately. And leave a comment below telling me some time you have felt completely ignored. Perhaps it was at a working meeting, during a family discussion, or even in an informal conversation with friends. I want to read your story because I will answer the most interesting comments in the next videos. Your experience could even inspire future contents. Now let's talk about why this is more important than ever. Dale Carnegie wrote How to Win Friends and Influence People almost 90 years ago, but their ideas are still incredibly relevant today. In our hyper-connected world, in which everyone competes for attracting attention, the ability to make people really listen to you is not only useful, but it is essential for success. What you are about to learn works everywhere. In business presentations in which you need to persuade investors, in personal relationships in which you want deeper connections, in social situations where you want to be memorable, even in online interactions, in which to highlight among the noise determines your influence. At the end of this video, you will have a 7-day full action plan that you can start putting into practice immediately. I'm not talking about theory. These are practical steps that will make people notice the difference in your way of communicating in the first week. You will see it in your body language, in your answers, and most importantly, how they start looking for your opinions. But first, we have to understand why they ignore us. The human brain constantly filters the information. Scientists call this selective attention, and it happens every second of each day. Your brain literally decides what your conscious attention deserves and what is filtered as irrelevant background noise. Think about it in this way. At this time, you are concentrated in this video, but your brain is ignoring the feeling of your clothes against your skin, the environmental sounds that surround you, maybe even the temperature of the room. This filtering system is essential for survival, but it also means that when you try to communicate, you are competing with thousands of other stimuli for someone's attention. This is where most people are wrong. They become easy to ignore when falling into predictable patterns. They talk too much about themselves, thinking that their own experiences are the most interesting of the room. They interrupt others in the middle of the phrase, demonstrating that they are more focused on what they mean than it is being shared. They do not actively listen to crucial clues about what really matters to the other person. Research in psychology have identified something called focus effect, by which we overestimate the attention of others. We believe that people are pending of each of our words, when they are actually thinking of their own matters. There is also reticular filter, which makes our brain look at things that are relevant to our current interests and objectives, while ignoring everything else. Here is precisely where the first principle of Carnegie becomes revolutionary. Instead of fighting these natural trends, he discovered how to work with them. Carnegie observed something deep about human nature. He wrote that more friends can be made in 2 months interested in others who in 2 years trying to be interested in one. It's not just a beautiful feeling. It is a psychological trick that avoids the brain filtering system. When you show a genuine interest in someone, something magical happens. Your reticular filter suddenly points to you as important. You no longer compete for your attention because you are in what matters most, they themselves. This does not mean being false or manipulative. It means recognizing that everyone has stories, challenges, and dreams that are important to them. Next, we explain how to apply this in a practical way. Start asking open questions that invite people to share their experiences. Instead of asking if someone enjoyed their weekend, ask him what made his weekend memorable. Instead of asking if he liked a movie, ask what the movie made him think. These questions require more than answers of itself, or not, and indicate that you really want to understand your perspective. Use the names of people most frequently in conversation. Research shows that listening to our own name activates a unique neurological response. It is like a personal alert system that says that this information is specifically relevant to me. But you don't exceed. Natural use is warm and personal. Forced repetition seems a sales technique. Remember the key details that people share with you. When someone mentions that he is nervous for a presentation next week, ask him later how he has gone. When they tell you about your daughter's football game, remember to ask them for the season. This shows that his words cared enough to keep them in your memory. Once I saw an executive completely transform its leadership style using this approach. He was brilliant, but he often felt that his team was not committed to his vision. Instead of striving more to understand their ideas, he began to spend time understanding their wants. He asked them for their professional goals, their greatest challenges, and their most important achievements. In a matter of months, people actively sought their opinion and their ideas gained much more weight. Take with you a small notebook or notes on your phone with details about the people you usually interact. Your interests, recent events in their lives, objectives that have been mentioned. Review it before important conversations. This is not harassment or manipulation. It is demonstrating that you value people enough to remember what they care about. But genuine interest alone is not enough. We also have to make people feel important, and this leads us to the second transforming Carnegie principle. Each person you know carries an invisible poster hanging around the neck that says, "Make me feel important." It is not about vanity or selfishness. It is a fundamental human need that drives much of our behavior. People who feel important by your side will naturally want to spend more time with you, listen to your ideas, and value your opinions. The key word here is sincere. People detect false compliments and empty compliments kilometers away. But when you genuinely recognize the contributions, skills, or positive qualities of someone, create a powerful emotional connection. A technique is to recognize contributions publicly. When someone shares a good idea at a meeting, do not just nod and move on. Say something like, "That is exactly the type of creative thought that makes our project success." When you are with a group and someone makes an insightful comment, give it up. Have everyone understood what Sarah has just said? That perspective could change the way we address all this problem. Make specific and sincere fulfilled that show that you have been paying attention. Instead of saying that someone has done a good job, explains exactly what has impressed you. The way you handled that difficult customer call was extraordinary. You kept calm, you asked explanatory questions, and found a solution that worked for everyone. That is the type of professionalism that builds lasting relationships. Show that he values his opinions, asking for advice, even in minor matters. You have very good taste for restaurants. What place do you recommend for a business meal? You are very organized. What is your system to be aware of everything? This positions them as experts and makes your knowledge valuable to you. In relationships, this can mean praising your partner's kitchen in front of your friends, recognizing the experience of your colleague in team meetings, or thanking someone for their help in a way that highlights their specific skills and character. Social networks offer countless opportunities to make people feel important. Share its content with reflective comments. He significantly comments his publications instead of just giving them like. Take them when you refer to your ideas or advice in your own content. I know a marketing consultant who built his entire customer base using this principle. Instead of constantly promoting their own services, he dedicated time to highlighting the achievements of his contacts, sharing his successes, and publicly recognizing his contributions that helped his business. Their network became its largest defender because it made them feel constantly valued and important. But here there is an important warning. None of this works unless you master the fundamental ability that makes everything else possible. You have to feel a genuine curiosity for people. It is not a technique that can be pretended in the long term. If you are only acting to get something from others, they will notice. The most charismatic and influential people in the world share a common characteristic. They find others genuinely fascinating. This means changing your mentality of, "What can I get from this conversation?" to "What can I discover about this person?" Everyone has a unique story, unexpected knowledge, and interesting perspectives. Your work is to discover these treasures. Now let's put all this into practice with a 7-day practical plan that will transform the way people respond to you. Every day it focuses on developing a specific ability, and at the end of the week, you will have experienced the combined effect of these approaches. The first day is to dominate the base. Listen without interrupting. Your only objective today is to let people finish their thoughts before responding. This sounds simple, but most people interrupt a few seconds that someone begins to talk. Practice the 3-second rule. When someone stops talking, he counts up to 3 before answering. This guarantees that it really has finished and gives you time to process what you have really said. The second day focuses on the names. Mark it as a goal to learn and use the names of 3 new people with whom you interact. If your names are given badly, repeat them immediately. Happy to meet you, Jennifer. Use them naturally during the conversation. Jennifer, that is a perspective she had not considered. Finish interactions using your name again. It has been a pleasure to talk to you, Jennifer. The third day focuses on the questions. Ask at least 3 open questions in each important conversation you have. The questions that begin with what, how, or why usually generate the most enriching answers. What inspired you to dedicate yourself to that field? How did you develop that ability? Why do you think this approach works so well? Listen to your answers and ask follow-up questions that deepen the subject. The fourth day focuses on recognition. Look at something positive of someone and specifically tell him what you have observed. It may be the ability to present a coworker, the creativity of a friend, the consideration of a relative, or even the kindness of a stranger. Be specific about what you have observed and why it has impressed you. The fifth day is based on your growing personal information database. Remember something that someone has told you before and draws the subject naturally. Ask how he went in the job interview, if his son liked the play of school, or if he finished the book he was reading. This shows that your previous conversations were important enough to remember them. The sixth day focuses on public recognition. Find an opportunity to praise someone in front of others. It could be to thank a coworker during a team meeting, congratulate the waiter in front of your table colleagues, or share someone's achievements on social networks. Public recognition has a greater impact because it improves its reputation and shows your generosity. The seventh day integrates everything you have practiced. Enter the conversations with genuine curiosity, use people's names, ask reflexive questions, listen carefully, recognize their value, and refer to previous interactions. You will be surprised how different people will answer. The benefits begin to be noticed immediately. People will start looking for you to talk. They will ask your opinion more frequently. You will notice how their face is illuminated when they see you approaching. In meetings, your ideas will be more taken into account. In social situations, you will find yourself in the center of interesting debates. But true transformation occurs over time. As you apply these principles constantly, you earn the reputation of being someone who really cares for others. People begin to describe you as charismatic, influential, and genuinely pleasant. Opportunities begin to flow towards you because people want to work with someone who makes them feel valued. It is not manipulation or artificial charm. It is about recognizing and responding to the fundamental human needs that we all share. When you make people feel heard, understood, and important, they naturally want to correspond to your attention and consideration. The compound effect is remarkable. As people feel better around you, they are more likely to listen to your ideas, support your goals, and include you in important conversations. Your influence grows not because you strive more, but because you are creating an environment in which people want to relate to you. Remember the timeless vision of Carnegie. People will forget what you said, but will never forget how you made them feel. When you make people feel heard, valued, and importantly, you become someone who cannot ignore. Here are your call to action. Subscribe to this channel to learn more techniques that will transform your way of communicating and connecting with others. We regularly explore the psychology behind the influence and provide practical tools that you can use immediately. Leave a comment below telling me what 7-day plan you are going to start today. I will answer the most interesting comments and may even include your experience in future videos. And if you are ready to deepen the communication domain that attracts attention, click on the video that appears now on your screen. You will discover how to talk so that people cannot stop listening to you, using advanced techniques that complement everything you have learned today. Your way to never be ignored again begins with your next conversation. Choose a principle, apply it with sincerity, and observe how people begin to change people to you. The attention and influence you have been looking for have nothing to do with changing who you are. They have to do with lighting the natural human connector that has always been within you.